Hey fantastic people, welcome back to F1ntastic Gaming. You can see we're back here with F1 2020 My Team Career Mode episode 8 today for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're going to spend some time in team headquarters before heading to the race weekend, and so we have a long way to the Grand Prix, so we can fill it up with some important activities. So like the supplier HQ tour, we're going to do the second driver PR filming to get us some cash and to get us some driver rating. It's going to help us with the second driver, who is Jordan King right now. And now we have 3 days left in the activity timeline. We're going to film it up with a driver promotion filming. You can see I'm doing a little bit more for my teammate today than usual. And then we're going to do the aero team building, which will get us some good morale on the aero side. And it is going to cost us some cash, but that's okay, it's very little. Before we head to the race weekend, I want to get some upgrades done, because we actually have a good amount of resource points. I think 556 resource points, so that's enough for a minor upgrade. And we're gonna be upgrading the chassis side of the tree now, because we've only done one chassis upgrade so far, which is not good. So now we're gonna purchase a weight reduction upgrade that will come in after a couple of races. And now we head back to the main menu, to the overview, and now we're gonna forward through time. You can see the activity timeline is filled with upgrades, with just activities and other such things, and the weekly resources. Since we have a good amount of time left until the next Grand Prix. And all of our upgrades have come through. I was really happy, because every single upgrade came through without failure, which was really good for us. So hopefully we'll be a lot stronger coming into this race weekend. And you can see just going through some final checks. And I actually went to the R&D progress history, and I saw that we started the year faster than Haas, but then Haas crossed us very easily. And I was a little bit upset about this, but then I realized that, this is their 5th season in F1, they have better facilities, better resource points, and I kind of understood that, they're going to be upgrading faster than us, and it'll be easier for them to cross us. But now we have to catch up back to them before the end of the season, and maybe even cross Alfa Romeo. You can see a good amount of resource points gained from the practice sessions. It's become a normality for me now, trying to get a lot of resource points, because Jordan King only gets 140 from his side, so we have to get a lot more. But otherwise, good acclaim boost for us as well. And now we head to qualifying. Straight away to qualifying, we're going through the setup, and the setup is kind of complicated for Azerbaijan, because you want downforce in the corners because it is so tight, since it is a street circuit. But you also don't want to be too draggy, because you want straight line speed for this long straight. As you can see now, this is the main straight. It's super long, longest straight in F1. Lowest tire pressures for the tire temperatures. Obviously, for such a tight track and difficult track, you want the lowest tire pressures possible, and you just want to make it easier for your car. I'm running 6.6 wings the balance setup. I don't want to play around with the setup too much, because it could turn against us. This was our first run of qualifying. See, we're coming down, powering down this long main straight once again, coming to the end of the lap. What's it gonna be? It's gonna be 1 minute 41.4. It puts us up into P4 and straight away down to P5 after someone else puts in a lap. And this is our first lap of qualifying, but you can see we're behind Magnussen. And we're down in P17 by the end of our second lap. We've gained 5 tenths, but we're so far down. I'm so surprised. But then I realized why we were doing so bad, and it was because I actually increased the difficulty quite a fair bit coming into qualifying. And you can see it has turned against us completely, because we're doing so bad compared to the AI. This is definitely not my AI level. I usually race at 95, but I put it up to 100 just to see how it goes, and it's not going too well right now. We're in P13, which isn't actually that bad, but coming to the beginning of our 3rd flyer of qualifying, I don't think it's our final flyer, but it is on our 3rd and final set of soft tires. So now we're coming through the second corner, and you can see we're losing so much time, especially on the exits. But it was a horrible lap. It was much slower, 7 tenths slower than our best lap, and my morale was pretty down by now. You can see 11 seconds left in the session, and I'm not in a good position. I'm still ahead of Raikkonen, Magnussen, and everyone. But then I realized that, look at Lewis Hamilton, he's putting in faster laps now. So I realized that at the end of qualifying, the AI were going to put in fastest laps. I thought I'll go down to around P15 probably. But then coming to the end of our final flyer of qualifying. It wasn't a good flyer, and you can see we're down P19. We qualify in P19. Oh my goodness! I just noticed in the top left corner, we qualified in P19, which was absolutely terrible. That was the worst qualifying we've had this season so far. Definitely, by far the worst qualifying we've had. The difficulty experiment gone totally wrong, and now we're gonna be in for a difficult race. Definitely. We're gonna try and fight our way back into the points.
A warm welcome to all of you watching at home to today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama. A fourth-row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as a pole position would. And remember, in 2017 and 2018, both Lance Stroll and then Sergio Perez took surprise podiums here. The Baku City Circuit measures roughly 6 kilometers and is made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to catastrophic consequences for all of our drivers. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Why don't we discuss Red Bull? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Albon, Charles Leclerc and Perez, Verstappen, Kvyat, Stroll and Esteban Ocon, Ricciardo, Gasly, Kimi Raikkonen and Sainz, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Lando Norris, Falcon, King, Latifi and George Russell ends our grid lineup. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So we are met with a major challenge here in Azerbaijan. Jeff is telling me the same message, same radio message he's been telling me since we got points in the first race of the season. And yeah, so we're starting off P19 on the grid for the first time. We're starting on the same row as our teammate, and the game recommends me the alternate strategy from the mediums to the softs. And first I'm filling up fuel in the car. I want to fill in extra 2 laps because I know I'm going to be using a lot of fuel because it's Azerbaijan. And I'm customizing the stint vitals and the strategy so that it's soft to mediums, because after that video in China where we completely threw away the race, I don't want to make that same mistake again, so I'm going to do the soft to medium strategy. You can see I'm just making sure that the amount of laps on each tire are the same so that we don't lose any time. We're actually going to gain very little time, but we are going to gain time from the soft to medium strategy. So I think it's the optimal strategy, and I think we're going to do well. You can see tire pressures are okay, the setup is okay with the wings, and now we're going to start the formation lap. From P19 on the grid, we're behind Lando Norris. It's really disappointing. I mean, being this far down the grid, sorry. You can see there's only my teammate and the Williams cars behind us. And so I want to maximize the first lap, maybe the first 2 laps, to get as far up the grid I can off the start, because I know that on the game, especially on this game, it's really surprising that I'm pretty good at starts. So I want to maximize on that dive down into turn 1, and it's lights out, and away we go using the overtake mode. We pass Lando Norris straight off the line, and now we're going to look to make a dive bomb into turn 1. It's a really short run, and now make a huge dive down the inside up into P14 now, and we pass Ricciardo to make it up into P13. Now dive down the inside of Raikkonen and Gasly. We're up into P11 now. Those yellow flags because we went so slow. I slowed them down so much at the apex of turn 2. But now we're up into P11, and I want to make inroads on Stroll as soon as I can. Look at how much we close up in the braking zone because there's this whole train of cars ahead of us. And now we make a dive down the inside of Stroll. We bang wheels. He leaves us no space, and he puts us on the curb. And we get a lot of wheel spin here. There. Now I'm angry. Now I want to get past this guy. And we make a huge dive down the inside. We squeeze him out. We bang wheels. We do whatever we have to. But now we're up into the points ping position, which is a major yes for us, because you know, our sponsor goals are to get in the points and everything. So we need to impress our sponsors. So we need to finish in the points. Our sponsor bonuses and our just weekly sponsor income is the only source of income for us. So we need to make that work so that we can improve the team in the car. But now Stroll gaining so much time on us, using that so powerful slipstream to try and make a move on us. He goes around the outside, we brake late down the inside, and he actually tries to switch us. He tries to do a switchback, but we just do better on the exit, and he actually tries to go for a move again. And it's actually Stroll and Gasly who are battling now. So it was both Stroll and Gasly who are trying to get past me, but I think Gasly made a dive bomb, and now Stroll is struggling defending from Gasly on that back straight. Let's look at the replay cameras to see this battle. It's really interesting. And yeah, now the camera finally moves. You can see that Gasly is trying to go around the outside of Stroll, and I think that's going to work out for him, because this corner Gasly is going to have the inside line, but they're helping me out so much. Gasly is actually helping me out by battling with Stroll, because look at the gap, 1.6 seconds.
We're accumulating some wear on the MGUK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
While a really good thing was happening with Stroll and Gasly battling behind us, something really bad has happened now. The MGUK, which is the ERS part of the engine, the part that gets ERS from the braking, is wearing out a lot now, and that's going to be major issues for us, because we need to harvest as much energy as we can in these big braking zones in Azerbaijan, so we can burn it all off on the straights and all the parts of the track that we need to burn off energy to get some extra engine speed, where we need to use our engine. And now as DRS gets enabled on lap number 3, our MGUK is wearing out, so our ERS deployment, our ERS harvesting will not work as well, which is a really bad thing for us. And the gap behind is fairly stable now. Stroll is the car behind. He defended from Gasly, and it is a little bit less now, around 3/10 less than it was before, 3 or 4 tenths. But I'm actually surprised by how we're holding out here. But as we move on to lap number 4, the pit window opens, and I can actually understand why it opened now, because 4 laps into the Grand Prix and our tires are already dying. You can see from the gap in the top left corner that the gap has gone down to less than a second now. So Stroll does have DRS as we go into hyperdrive. He does gain on us on the straight, around 4 tenths gained on us now, 6 tenths, 5 tenths maybe, I think, yeah, 5 tenths gained on us around approximately. But yeah, in the corners now, we're sliding through the corners with these worn tires. And look at that, Stroll's right behind us. I actually got so scared when I looked back, and he's suddenly right there up my gearbox. So now we have to struggle through these corners with these worn tires, and we have to defend from him, because I want to stay ahead of him when the pit stops come, and I also want to, you know, kind of get an undercut on him, because I'm pitting on lap number 4, which is pretty early. But yeah, I just want to keep this points position in the race. I don't want to finish outside the points, because that could have some bad consequences for us. But look at that, we're sliding through the corners. We have no grip, especially on the rear tires. It did gain us time there, but we're literally sliding through that chicane there out of the castle section, so that was not good for us. But now coming through this corner, we tagged the wall a little bit. It was a really bad exit for us, and Stroll catches right back up to us. 3 tenths is the gap now, less than 3 tenths. So we made a major mistake there, and that could cost us now. Look at the proximity arrows. He's right there. It's not red yet, but he's still really close, because there's two arrows. So that shows that he's right there. Look at that. We look behind. 1.5 tenths is the gap now. And he flies past us on the straight. We're going to be coming into the pit, so that isn't a major problem. But he is ahead of us now, before we even came into the pits. And there's yellow flags for some reason. I don't know what that, but I think Stroll was going slowly. Look at that. Stroll was going slowly. Stroll with a massive engine problem. Listen to the engine sounds now. Just look at that engine noise. He's slowed down. He has an engine issue. That is so disappointing for Lance Stroll. I really feel bad for the Canadian. He's been doing so well this Grand Prix, and now, if it wasn't for this engine failure that Stroll had, I'm pretty sure he would have caught us, because he was looking really pacey, really fast. But now, we come into the pits. We've had some really good pit stops lately. It's a 2.2 second pit stop. Wow, would you look at that? That was a really great pit stop. And Lance Stroll is out of the session. He has retired. It's just yellow flags. I was hoping for a safety car, actually. A safety car would have really leveled the field, and I could have gotten some overtakes done. But it's a DNF for Stroll. We're in P20 now, because a lot of cars haven't pit yet. I think we were the only one. We were the only car into the pit stops this lap. Moving on now to lap number 5. This is the next lap. This is lap number 5 onto lap number 6. So this is when another bunch of cars are going to be coming in, coming down the main straight using a lot of overtake mode, because I'm pretty sure that Danny Kvyat has come into the pits. Yeah, you can see that we gain only 2 positions, but Danny Kvyat, he's right there. I can see him going through turn 2 with Esteban Ocon. So we have actually made the undercut work a little bit, because we can see Kvyat again, and he's right there. So he was miles away earlier, but now it's only 1.7 seconds. This puts some hope in me. Maybe we could get even more points. Maybe instead of that one single point we get from P10, we could get maybe 2 or maybe 4 points from P9 or P8. But not, you can see we're pushing so hard, we're getting oversteer as well, and we've only been on these tires for 1 full lap. So now the gap to the car ahead, 1.8 seconds. 1.8 seconds, so Kvyat is gaining time on us with those fresh tires. And when we come to the end of lap number 6, when my teammate comes into the pits, the gap ahead is 2.5, so all of my hopes of getting P9, P8 have been dashed now, because Danny Kvyat has pulled away completely. We're up into P13 now after a few cars have come into the pits. Still not up to our original position. 3 cars are yet to come into the pit lane and change their tires, but we get so much oversteer out of the corner. And you can see from the proximity arrow there was a little bit of a hint of proximity arrow coming there, and Raikkonen has caught up to us. He's only a second behind. He jumped Gasly in the pit stop phase, so no, I think he was already ahead of Gasly. So Stroll's retired, so now it's Raikkonen right behind us. Look at that, we've looked behind us and he's right there. The gap is so less now, 0.6 of a second, 0.5 of a second. It's up and down a little bit. We clipped the wall a little bit. Luckily we have no damage, but if we did have damage we'd be completely finished. But Raikkonen is right there, 0.3 is the gap now. Look at the proximity arrows, he's gaining on us like crazy. He's gonna go for a move down the inside, the most experienced driver on the F1 grid. We make a bit of contact with him because we left him no space, so he jumped on the curb and he hit us on the inside. But we get that move done around the outside. We re-overtake him because he did kind of pass us, but that was really scary there. I nearly lost my position, but luckily I know how to defend. But now, coming to the main straight, you can see how close Raikkonen is. And we look behind him, he has DRS. He has DRS, and our engine is worn out, and we're struggling with DRS as well. So look at that, he just flies past us. So does Gasly. Gasly's gone past us now. So we're really losing out here. We make a huge dive bomb down to turn 1. We make a bit of contact, a little bit of lag from my PS4 there as well. But Ricciardo comes into the pits for his move from mediums to soft, but we're still battling with Raikkonen, and we put him in the wall. I think he actually made contact with the wall. He left us a bit too much space there, because we did tag his wheel on the inside. And that was crazy. He actually went into the wall, and that was a very close battle, and very hairy battle, because we're going through the streets of Azerbaijan, especially in turn 1, turn 2. It's really tight on the apex, and we were actually going through the corner side by side, so it was kind of dangerous. And Raikkonen did get wing damage there. Lando Norris, we're in P11. I was actually pretty worried what happened, who's up there in the points, who's taking my points position, and it was actually Lando Norris, who hasn't come in from it for his pit stop because he started on the medium tires. And now gap to car in front, 6.4 seconds. Jeff, don't tell me about the car in front. I don't care about Kvyat anymore. He's far away. We have to worry about the cars behind us, because look at Raikkonen. Raikkonen flying by. Sorry, that's Gasly flying by. I don't know. Yeah, Raikkonen had wing damage on his front left or front right or something. Front right. Yeah, he had his end plate come off. We actually let Gasly through because I wanted to get DRS off him, but he is the one that got DRS. So now I have to make a dive down the inside of turn 1. I had to use a slipstream, and I had to use so much overtake mode. But then Raikkonen's coming back at Gasly with wing damage. That is crazy. Raikkonen's AI gets past Gasly. That is absolutely insane. Raikkonen had some pretty bad wing damage, probably yellow front wing if I were playing him, if I was playing from his point of view. But yeah, and he still gets past Gasly, and he's still gaining on us. So the Iceman really doing a great job here. And now coming through to later on in lap number 9, you can see we're sliding through the corners of the castle section. Now this straight line speed area, you need a lot of downforce, but at the same time you don't want drag because you're flat out. So that's where Raikkonen's getting a benefit. He has less drag, so he can catch up to us there as we go into hyperdrive. You can see in the corners we're much better under braking and on the exits because we have a full front wing and we have much more confidence overall. But on the straights we're an absolute sitting duck with a worn out engine. Look at that, we're getting dive bombed. We're getting bombed by both of these guys. They just flew past us with DRS. Carlos Sainz is in on the action now. He's on the soft tire. Sorry, that was Daniel Ricciardo in on the action. But then we just get squeezed out. We just get boxed in. We tap Gasly on his left rear tire, and he actually gets a lot of oversteer and we can dive down the inside of Raikkonen. We barely missed hitting the wall. Oh my goodness, that was so close. We get a collision warning, and now Daniel Ricciardo flying on those soft tires is trying to make a move on Raikkonen now, and he gets past Raikkonen. What is happening with this race? It has been absolutely crazy, and there's still more to come. I actually think Raikkonen didn't have wing damage earlier. I think he has wing damage now, and we understeered into him and we kind of hit him in the wall. Yeah, he has his front right end plate gone off. So actually earlier he was racing with a full front wing when he overtook Gasly and everything. That's why he didn't fall back. But now with the whole thing where we held up Ricciardo and Raikkonen and that whole mess in turn 2, we're in lap number 10 of 13 now, and Ricciardo on those soft tires, he is catching us fast. He has come within 1 second of us, and now we make a big mistake at that corner. I'm starting to get really annoyed with that curb. It is really hindering my performance. Coming through the penultimate corner, I mean there are more corners to come, but they're flat out, so I technically count that as a penultimate corner. But yeah, Ricciardo now 5 tenths behind us, 4 tenths, 3 tenths. He's gaining on us. He's gaining on us like crazy. He's coming alongside us. We defend. He leaves us in the dust with those soft tires. Look at the grip he has with the DRS. He's really flying now, and now we're down in P11. We are out of the points ping positions. I try to get that position back, but I just don't have the grip, and my engine's just gone. I've forgotten about my engine. It's just not helping me today. I get DRS, but on the exit Ricciardo just flies away. Jeff, I don't need your depressing radio messages right now. And yeah, turbocharger not working, so load of problems with our engine now. And we just lost that position to Ricciardo. No matter how hard I push, these tires are just beaten up. They have nothing left in them. And yeah, Ricciardo's just flown away. It's lap number 11. It's the same lap. And just after a few corners, he's built a 2.2 second gap. And Gasly's caught back up to us. He's caught up to us by 4.4 seconds. So yeah, we're really struggling with the car here, coming through the last few bends. And now Gasly with DRS, probably he isn't using DRS yet, but he's probably using a lot of ERS, and he had a lot more grip on those final corners, and now his DRS flap opens, and Sainz flies by. Now Sainz trying to get a move on Gasly, and wait, what's happening? Max Verstappen's out of the session as my PS4 lags a little bit again. Don't know why that's happening, but we make a huge dive down the inside of Gasly. We kind of understeer into Gasly. We didn't make contact, but Gasly had to make way, and Verstappen's out of the race. We're back up into P10. We're back up into the points ping positions. This is absolute madness here. Because of that whole confuffle into turn 1, the gap behind is 1.1 seconds now on this penultimate lap, and we are back up into the points. This is a miracle. This is an F1 miracle we are facing here, and we are back up into the points ping positions. This was really lucky for us that Verstappen had an engine failure or some issue with his car and he's retired, but now we still have issues with Gasly. Now how is Gasly so fast? I don't know. The AlphaTauri team are really doing well this race, and Gasly is really putting the pressure on us. He goes for a move down the inside again. We're on to the last lap of the Grand Prix. We're giving it everything we got. You can see we held him up a lot again in turn 1 because of that dive bomb we made, and we're doing pretty well here. We're struggling so much with the car, but yeah, we're just pushing as hard as we can. It's less than a lap to go in this race, and we're just giving it everything we got as we go into hyperdrive a little bit. You can see in the corners we just have no grip, and Gasly's right there. Even though we made a gap into turn 1, in 3 corners we just lost a straightaway. Less than 3 corners, we just have no grip. We have a lot of perseverance now already, but through the castle section. Probably it gave him a lot of dirty air, so he did lose a bit of time there to me, but still we're just giving it everything we got, just pushing so hard. The gap behind is absolutely nothing now, as Valtteri Bottas wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He wins again in this season of my team career. And Gasly goes round the outside. He tries to go for a dive bomb. We squeeze him out, no mercy to him. And we actually bumped on the curve a little bit, and something happened with my game. I don't know why it was showing me this again, but we're using so much overtake mode. We're pushing so hard. Look at that, Gasly is gaining on us. Gasly is actually gaining on us. We have 4% ERS. We have no ERS, so that's 2%, but we hold out. We stay ahead of Gasly, and we come home in the points paying position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in a super hectic race from P19 on the grid. We get driver of the day. I think we deserve that. I think we deserve driver of the day. Our icon doesn't load. Don't know why that happens, but this was a great race for us.
Great work from the whole team here at the track and back at the factory as well. And some pretty handy driving for good measure. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
And so we conclude another super exciting race and another super exciting episode in our F1 2020 My Team career. We finished in the points paying position, really important for us. We finally got the results that we deserve, and we are finally getting the credit. I mean, it's just 1 point, but still, that could be important for us in the championship, and for our sponsor and for our team to get at least 1 point, a points finish in the race. And I do want to look to make inroads on the top 6 in the drivers championship, because finishing in the top 6 would be really good for us. I mean, beating a Red Bull driver or one of the top 3 a driver from the top 3 teams in the drivers championship would do us real good for the next season, because people will be expecting a lot more from us next season. But it's only round 8 in season 1, so we have a long way to go this season. And yeah, we can't be super expectant to perform really well. But in terms of the Constructors Championship, the top 3 are the same, and now we are still in P4 in the Constructors Championship as a team. And now we had to press interview with Claire, and she's asking, did I struggle to get through the traffic? This is tough because it's asking us to give credit to one department of the team. I went for durability. I just said I pushed as hard as I could, which I did, and it gave the credit to the durability department. And I'm gonna say that when they underestimated us, and I'm gonna give the credit to the team. That's most important. This question, even though Williams are not performing well, I'm gonna say they are performing well, so we get a good reputation. For this question, she's talking about a negative thing like the crash. I want to be very conservative now. I think we can say no comment on this question. That's why I do say no comment for this question, just to keep it a little bit safe. And now we head to the end of race details. Like at the end of the race, you can see rivalry is going well for us, but we don't do too well this race because obviously we had a bad qualifying. So Danny Kvyat did gain a couple of points for us in terms of the rivalry breakdown. Big acclaim boost for me and for Jordan King's side. I don't think the thing has gone up for Jordan King, but it has for me, and it's a big acclaim boost. And look at the sponsor goals. We achieved the sponsor goals. That's really good for us. Guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when a new video comes out. This is F1ntastic Gaming.